Okay, let's go ahead and get started on this. So we have this expression here. We've got 4x minus 6y plus 2 minus 5x plus 10 minus the y. So the first question that I have is based off of what I've gotten written here. How many terms is being showcased in this expression? How many terms? Isaiah? 6. Okay, so we have 6 terms. Remember, terms is going to be separated by those plus and minus signs. So here's my first term. This one is my second term, my third term, my fourth term, my fifth term, and my sixth term. I have 6 terms, and I'm even going to write down what those terms are. I've got 4x. I've got a negative 6y, because that minus 6y acts like a negative. I've got a positive 2. I've got a negative 5x. I've got a positive 10. And I've got a negative y. These are all of my terms from this expression. It's important to know that the operation that's connected to it, the one that's in front of it, that belongs to, you know, that minus sign belongs to the 6y, that plus sign belongs to the 2, that minus 5x, that's a negative 5x, okay? Those operations belong to who they're in front of. Okay, my constants, remember, those are values that are considered to be just numbers, right? No variables attached. So who can tell me what my constants are? Diana? The 2 and the 10. A positive 2 and a positive 10. Those are the only ones that don't have a variable attached to them. They are the only ones without a variable actually attached to them. So those are my constants. My coefficients. Remember, my coefficients are attached to a variable. My coefficients are going to be attached to variables. We don't say the variable, we only say the number that's involved in the attachment. Aisha?
4, 6, and 5.
Close. Very, very close. 4. She said 4, 6, and 5. There's a small mistake that's been made. What's the small mistake? What do you think, Justin? Negative 6, okay. We know it's a negative 6, right, Aisha? Because it says minus 6. That minus 6y. That creates it to be a negative. What's the other small mistake then, Angel? The 5 is also negative. Very good. So it says minus 5x. That means that the 5 also is a negative. You have to make sure you are including the operation that's in front of it. Okay, that plus sign indicates that it's a positive value. The minus sign indicates it's a negative value. All right, listing of all possible like terms. We're going to list all the possible like terms. So I'm going to focus first on my x terms. So I know I have a 4x. What else is a like term to the 4x? Brian? Negative 5x. 4x and negative 5x. That's a set of like terms. So I'm going to go ahead and put a little pink box around both of them. And I'm going to write them down here because problem 5 wants me to simplify by combining those like terms. So I'm going to do 4x minus 5x. 4x minus 5x comes out to a negative 1x, or just a negative x. I don't have to write the ones. Remember, you do not have to write your ones. If you want to put a 1, that's perfectly fine. In fact, I'll write it the first time, and then I'll show you what it looks like all together without the 1 written. Okay, what's another set of like terms up here? Anasia? Good. Negative 6y and negative y. Okay, those are also like terms. Now remember that negative y does have a coefficient when I'm trying to simplify. What is the coefficient that's in front of there? A 1. Okay, if there's not a coefficient written, we automatically know that there is a 1 written in front of it. If I do negative 6y minus the 1y, that's going to come out to a negative 7y. Okay, other like terms. What are some other like terms that we have up here? Gavin, why don't you try to tell us? What's the other set of like terms up here? Positive 2 and positive 10. Good. We've got a positive 2 and a positive 10. So 2 and 10. Those are also a set of like terms. So we can combine those together. 2 plus the 10. If we do 2 plus 10, it comes out to a positive 12. Comes out to a positive 12. Okay, so if I write the whole thing without writing the 1 for that coefficient, I could just write negative x minus 7y plus the 12. And that would be my final answer. Negative x minus the 7y plus the 12. Okay? Those are just reminders of how we go about simplifying. Now, one of the things that you started working on, or several of you were able to start working on yesterday, was the distributive property. You have been taught distributive property for a couple years now. We're just going to review over it very quickly and utilize the distributive property to simplify some of the expressions. Okay? So distributive property, how this works, you are taking a value that is on the outside of parentheses, and you are distributing it by multiplying it to each value that's on the inside of parentheses. So if we have, we'll use the purple. So if we've got an A, and we've got a plus or a minus the B, we are distributing that multiplication to each of these. So we're doing M times the A. And then we are doing M times that positive B. Okay, and then what other operation happens to be in between there would be either a plus or a minus sign in between. So I'll put a plus sign in between for this case. So when I'm looking at problem number 1, I've got 2, and then in parentheses I've got 3x plus 7. So what I'm doing is I'm taking this value of a 2, and I'm going to multiply it to this 3x, and I'm going to multiply it to this positive 7. So I am doing 2 times 3x, and I'm doing 2 times positive 7. Now 2 times 3x, all we're really focusing on is multiplying 2 times 3. What's 2 times 3? 6. So this becomes 6x. 2 times 3 is 6, so 2 times 3x is 6x. And then 2 times 7, what's 2 times 7? 14. Now it's a positive 14, so what should I put in between here? Plus. It's a positive, so I'm going to put a plus sign. And there's my final answer. I cannot combine those together because they are not like terms, so I'm done. For problem number 2, I have 9 minus 4, and then parentheses 2x minus 3. So the 9 is not a part of my distributive property. It's on the outside of the parentheses, and it's completely away from the parentheses. It's not connected to it. So it's just going to stay a 9. What does get distributed is not just the 4, but the minus 4. Remember that minus sign belongs to the 4. That minus sign is going to belong to the 4. So we're going to do negative 4 times 2x. And we're going to do a negative 4 times a negative 3. Okay, let me write that down again. We have negative 4 that we're multiplying with the 2x. And we have a negative 4 that we're going to multiply with a negative 3. It's important, guys, that you make sure you keep your negative signs with it. Those negative signs must carry down with it. Okay? So again, the 9's not being multiplied with anything, so the 9's just going to stay a 9. This negative 4 times 2x becomes a negative 8x. This negative 4 times negative 3 becomes a positive 12. Okay, I've distributed. Am I done? No, I'm not. Because do I have like terms? Do I have any like terms that can be combined together? Yeah. What can still be combined together up here? The 9 and the 12, right? Those are some constants. I have a 9 and a 12 that I can go ahead and combine. So I'm going to do 9. Am I going to subtract or add 12? Add, right? Because it doesn't say minus 12. It says minus 8x. It says plus 12. So we're going to add the 12 with it. So 9 plus 12 becomes 21. Am I combining that minus 8x with anything? No. So this minus 8x is just going to come straight down. Minus 8x. And there's our final answer. 21 minus 8x. Okay, when you've got that copy down, go ahead and flip it on over to the back. We're going to do 2 more examples together. All right, let's take a look at the back side. So for problem 3, we have a negative 3 that's going to get multiplied to the 5x, and it's going to get multiplied to a positive 6y. So we're taking this negative 3 and we are going to multiply it by 5x, and we're going to multiply it by the positive 6y. Negative 3 times 5x and a negative 3 times 6y. Am I going to multiply it by that 8x as well? No. Why not? You're right. Tell me why not. It's at the very end, right? Is it inside the parentheses? No. Remember, we're distributing to only what's inside the parentheses. If it's outside the parentheses, it doesn't get anything distributed to it. So this is just going to stay a positive 8x. Okay, so we're just going to do negative 3 times 5x. Negative 3 times 5x is negative 15x. Then we're going to do negative 3 times 6y, and that becomes negative 18y. And then we have this plus 8x. Okay, so I have to ask myself, can I combine any like terms? Can we combine any like terms here, Angel? Yeah, what can we combine? Very good. Negative 15x and a positive 8x. Those can get combined together. They are like terms. So we can do negative 15x plus 8x and that's going to come out to a negative 7x. What happens with a negative 18y? Does it get combined? It stays just as it is. So it's negative 18y. And there's our final answer. Negative 7x minus 18y. Okay, problem number 4. I know everybody looks at it and goes, oh, it's a fraction. I can't do it. You can, because you have a tool to use. You've got that calculator. It's no different. Even though it's a fraction, it's still distributive property. We're just taking this 3 over 4, and we are distributing it to the 16x. That's our first term. We're going to do 3/4 times 16x. And then I'm going to do 3/4 times what? What else am I timing it to? Negative 8y. Very good, Ashir. Negative 8y. That minus sign is going to get included with it, right? This minus sign has to get included with it. So it's a negative 8y. Okay, so then we just use our calculating tool to be able to do so. We're going to do 3/4 times 16. 3/4 times 16 comes out to 12. So we get 12x. Don't forget your variable. Then we're going to do 3/4 times the negative 8 in our calculator. When we do 3/4 times negative 8, we're going to get negative 6. So we have negative 6y. And then that's it. Okay, you're going to try the next few problems, the next 4 on your own. Alright, for problem number 5, we're going to go over this one. We've got 12. That's not going to be affected at all by the distribution because it's outside. We are distributing a negative 3. So we're going to do negative 3 times 6x and negative 3 times 5. When we do negative 3 times 6x, we're going to get a negative 18x. And then when we do negative 3 times the 5, that's going to come out to a negative 15. Okay, now we can go ahead and combine our like terms. We do have like terms with our numbers, right? We do have a 12 and that minus 15 that can be combined together. When I do 12 minus the 15, that comes out to negative 3. That negative 18x is going to come straight down, negative 18x, or it becomes a minus 18x. So there's our final answer. We get negative 3 minus the 18x. For problem number 6, we have negative 6a. That's going to come down like just straight normal, negative 6a. We have a positive 8. This positive 8 is getting distributed to the 3a. So we're doing 8 times 3a. And we're also doing 8 times negative 2b. We're multiplying it by a negative 2b. If we do 8 times 3a, that comes out to a positive 24a. If we do 8 times negative 2b, that comes out to a negative 16b. Then we can go ahead and look at combining some like terms. We do have like terms here with the a's. We have a negative 6a and a positive 24a. If I do negative 6a plus 24a, when I combine those together, I'm going to get a positive 18a. And then that minus 16b comes straight down in the problem. So there's our final answer. 18a minus 16b. For problem number 7, we have negative 5, and we're going to multiply it by the 2y and by the negative 11. So we're doing negative 5 times 2y. We're also doing a negative 5 times negative 11. Negative 5 times 2y is going to be negative 10y. Negative 5 times negative 11 comes out to a positive 55. Now, we still have this plus 3y that's going to come straight down. It did not have to get distributed to. Okay, then we combine the like terms. The only like terms that we have are the y's. So we're going to do negative 10y plus the 3y. When I combine negative 10y and 3y together, that comes out to a negative 7y. That plus 55 does not have any like term with it, so it just remains plus 55. And there's our final answer. Number 8, a little bit more simple, even though it does have decimals involved. It's just straight distributive property, and we don't have any like terms that we're combining, so it makes it a little bit easier. We're just doing 0.8, and we're multiplying it by 1.2x. And then we're doing 0.8, and we're multiplying it by a positive, because that plus sign, positive 6.4. Okay, when we do 0.8 times the 1.2x, that's going to come out to a 0.96x. And then when we do a 0.8 times a 6.4, let me see, 32, 3, 48, it's 5.12. Okay, so we get 0.96x plus 5.12. Okay, any questions? All right, your assignment for today, you are going to do a quizzes. The quizzes is 23 questions. It does have parts of the expression, so coefficients, terms, constants. It does have combining like terms, like what we were doing for the past 2 days, and it has some distributive property as well. Like always, how many attempts do you get? 2. You must complete both attempts unless you get what? 100 the first time. Let me give you out your little papers for it.